The new car test is brought to you by Crown. Protect, maintain, save. 17 or 18 years ago, IMSA decided to create a racing series called the Supercar Challenge. Now, Doc Bundy was wise enough to actually go over to England and talk Lotus into taking their Esprit and building it at the factory so that it become homologated as something called a 180R.
Doc was on the Corvette GTP team with Hendrick Motorsports, and they had a Lotus active suspension in that car. So when that whole program went away, Doc went to Lotus in England and said, you know, you guys need to showcase your actual street cars in a race series. And when the IMSA Supercar Series came along, it was a perfect venue for that. It was a very unique situation where we had to work until actual race day setting the cars up to get the most out of it, and that's where I learned, you know, everything from Doc and the factory from Lotus.
Now, long before the first car took the track in Miami, Bob Snodgrass from Bruma's Porsche North America, also decided to join the fight.
That was our biggest challenge, you know, and Porsche just come out with a bigger displacement car, and it would be hard to run with those guys. And I tell you, it's amazing with the horsepower that we had of this little X180R, the Lotus Esprit. We were 165 miles an hour down the back straight at Road Atlanta, and it was just phenomenal. And you'd feel the power, and you'd think there's no way on earth this little four cylinders putting that power out.
So like all great race cars, when they were done winning a couple of championships for the drivers and the manufacturers, these cars actually languished. They sat around for about 12 or 15 years. Nobody really cared about them.
After a period of time, two of the cars came back out. Someone brought them back out to race them in the Speed Vision Series. And then they got put back in the garage because they really weren't competitive anymore. This was past their prime. The man who owned those cars finally decided at one point he wanted to sell. We tried to work a deal, but it didn't quite work out. Someone else heard that I was looking, and so Steve Hansen, who had gotten one of the cars at the end, he had been one of their drivers and one of their sponsors. At the end, he got to keep one of the cars. He gave me a call, and he and I worked a deal, and we bought the first car. After we bought the first car, we got it restored and got it on the track, and as it started running, it turns out that the man who had the other two cars, Bruce Morton, decided that it really was time to give the cars to somebody who would do something with them. And so he called Jamie and I up. Jamie's my partner. And he said, listen, you guys have been doing a great job with that one car. I've seen it. He said, would you be interested in taking the other two cars and restoring them? So we worked a deal, and we actually ended up with three cars, two of which you see here, and the third car, which is at the shop, waiting to be finished up for its restoration.
You know, I'm so happy that Kevin and Jamie from yesteryear brought these cars back, and it was really a special time. And so for these guys to come back and bring these cars back is something that's a justice to me, to the whole community, to see these cars back out here again. It's really nice.
It's a car that's steeped in history, and the most unique thing about it is that it represents the last time the Lotus factory actually won a race as the Lotus factory. Doc Bundy, David Murry, Andy Pilgrim, Paul Newman made these cars famous to the point where a model similar to this for the street still goes in excess of $75,000.